Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. All right, well, hope you all enjoyed yesterday. That was sure crazy. This morning, actually, well, what day is it today? First, we should say is the day. It's the 10th, Tuesday. Things look a little bit calmer. So, to the charts. I'm just seeing a couple of things. I'm like, I need to change here, but we're okay. Let's take care of this first. Charts. Where's my important chart? Oh dear. Well, there's that one. Oh, here it is. Aha. Okay, so then this is the one that I want to see. When you look at the 10-year on a one-day chart, that is a pretty crazy move back down. They were at 140. They're touching 137. So over the past 2 days, crazy range. You look at that, the ATR is just off the charts. So it very much looks like a top. When you come in here and you look into it on the volume profile, yesterday was extremely disjointed. But we're above almost all of that. And so far, so good. I mean, the point of control is at the 28.19 or so, where the overnight stop was. Might be a spot that they're going to want to retest again, but there's like this whole gap. They could maybe try and close it. We'll see. Then again, here in the Treasury, that just the whole thing came back and we're back to relatively normal levels. Did they really make it to limit up? My understanding is that the ZB did go limit up at one point. Not yesterday though. I think it was before that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Come back over here. When we look at the DOM, the 10-year, still really light liquidity. We have Red Book. I don't really see a whole lot else on the calendar, which is kind of why is there not more stuff on the calendar? Is this just a really light news week? Well, today is the 10th. Oh, we got CPI and PPI later in the week. Okay. Well, we'll see. I am a little bit suspicious. Like, the market's up. The overnight action is extremely positive. Liquidity is not back yet at all. In fact, we're still seeing this thing where liquidity is almost better in the 5-year than it is in the 10-year. Which is just kind of silly. Yeah, I'm suspicious. They're acting suspicious. There is a limit up. There is. Let's pull this up. Okay, now I moved my monitor the other day, and it is not right. I think that's okay. That was actually maybe a little bit too much. I'll try that. Put the water bottle back. That's a little bit. Well, liquidity is so light, can't really. Still makes it very tough to take a trade in the 10-year, but we can try some sim trades. Checking here on the appearance. Okay, that is the 9 that we had it at. Just move my little. Get my cumulative delta there. I think on this chart over here, there's a couple of things that maybe we could add, but I just feel blind when I'm looking at it. But I will leave it alone for now because messing around with it is just gonna make everything slow down. Oh, I guess, you know what, here, let me turn it to the charts for a second. Let me see if, let me check my data here. Still no. I don't think that they've, oh no, wait, hold on. No. Yeah, no, it's not updating still. Oh yeah, if you haven't read John Grady's new blog post, I would recommend going and checking that out. It was a good read. Did that something wrong with my water? That tasted. No, it wasn't the water. I think I just have some salsa left in my mouth. I'm so dumb. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. Yeah, and I think I sound okay. Sometimes I turn the microphone on and it's like some days it's okay and some days I'm like, it's not loud enough. It's like right there, that sounds okay, but I digress. Treasuries do seem, I mean, they had a sweep up and we're getting like an ascending triangle sort of a thing back into 138. Yeah, the action right now is just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. There's also this little swing down that we had about 15 minutes ago while I was eating. That also very curious. Let's come over to Twitter. Hopes of U.S. stimulus measures appear premature. White House plan for economic response to coronavirus is not there right now, says CNBC. White House is far from ready to roll out specific economic proposals in its response to the coronavirus outbreak. That must have been why the E-mini dropped.
Harlequin says, what's this sound, by the way?
That sound is the sound of a possible momentum switch in the S&P 500.
Anthony Mann says,
down.
what is it?
What is it at? Which you have to be more specific. Sorry. First thing is always try and be specific. Yeah, so I believe that was telling me, well, hold on. Yep, short. It's telling me to go short. It was a little bit too fast. I don't know. It's a great signal, and usually it does end up going that way. But the liquidity is so light and it's so, messy that it's really, really hard to do it. Grand Princess cruise ship sits in the bay in Oakland, California as passengers wait to disembark and go into quarantine. Price limits for today, $28.79 and $26.05 is Globex numbers. Oh. Did they touch $28.79? They did. That's funny. So they were up 5% overnight. That's funny.
Gary Rich says, how is the rabbit? Specific question.
The rabbit is doing pretty good. I went and I checked up on her yesterday, and she looked like a happy rabbit to me. I'm hoping that we can build her a nice little shelter here. Okay, E-Mini doing some crazy things. That looks like a sell to me, but I don't see a spot. Well, the problem that I'm having in the E-Mini right now is when I feel like I have a clear direction, you can't find a safe spot to take it. Well, 36 would have been okay. I have to say though, it is really volatile. The treasuries are moving up a little bit. We getting some new headlines in here now. Just Forex Live saying there is no plan for a dramatic U.S. economic plan. If the move up overnight was based on the promise of economic stimulus, then that could be very discouraging. They did limit up. In fact, Futures Trader 71 posted a picture of it. Okay, hard bounce there.
Harlequin says, or they just wanted to fuck with some shorts. By the way, next week is Fed, right?
Oh, I think it's next week. Because I don't see anything listed for this week. So it's going to be next week. I thought it was this week. I was thinking it was this week, but no, it's next week. The 18th. March 18th. There's not a whole lot of news on the docket this week for March, surprisingly. So I say surprisingly, but it's probably a good thing, right? Can you imagine this market with actual news? Actual news, that could be really bad. Yeah, see, like they're trying to overcome it. This is the pattern.
Harlequin says, and when is the rollover with Amini again? Always struggle with this one.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I don't think it's today because the liquidity in the E-mini looks just fine. The expiration is the 16th, and so the roll is, oh, it says the 8th. Well, hold on. Ninja Trader's not telling me to roll over yet. Oh, wait, that was 2018. 2020, it is the 12th. Oh, okay. Yes, that makes sense.
Harlequin says the site I normally use says 12 of March. Just don't know if it's accurate.
Thursday. Yep, no, it's accurate. Here's the CME has it. Here it is on the CME. Bum, bum, bum.
Speculator Seth says.
I said something. Hmm. These swings in the treasuries are a little bit too wide for my comfort. I think I can go short here. Let's see. Let's see if they cooperate. Okay. Looks like another run towards 2019. That could be.
Gary Rich says the economic news isn't going to matter, it's corona and panic selling.
Yeah.
Harlequin says I would like these equities to drop more. There are some stocks I wanna buy lol.
Which stocks do you want to buy? I've been sitting here hoping that they close Disneyland because I would like to buy Disney. Like, I'd like to buy Disney, but they got to shut down Disneyland first. That is like the most, that just sounds like the most awful thing. You know, so I was watching, so we should bring this up. So, the kind of the news or slash discussion that I'm seeing on the kind of more mainstream
Harlequin
conservative
says I like
outlets.
tech ones like AMD or Nvidia. Man, I had
AMD would
AMD
be
back
great
some years
too.
ago for €2 and sold them for 8 lol.
I think AMD would be if it goes down enough. I've been looking at it, and AMD has gone down pretty much in tandem with the market, so it's not like a bargain buy. I don't know. I remember in the financial crisis, all of these tech companies just looked like absolute steals. Anyways, so they were talking about
Gary
Donald
Rich
Trump's
says
response.
Saudi and Russia are in a pissing contest over production numbers.
Yeah. They're talking about these. I've been telling myself I should take the 50 if I can get it. So, they're talking about Donald Trump's response to the coronavirus, and they were saying that Donald Trump risks looking like the mayor of Alinity in Jaws by being more concerned about the economic impact of things rather than people's safety, which I don't think is a very apt comparison in this particular case. Because first of all, the town of Alinity probably, after an event like that's
Harlequin
probably
says, and I
decimated.
also like Wirecard, even though the Financial Times keeps shitting on them lol.
And a virus is a little bit different because people are going to die no matter what. But I digress. And I look at that and I was like, well, I mean, isn't it kind of the same thing? Like, I'm sitting here like thinking primarily about which stocks I want to buy. Isn't that like way cold? It just doesn't seem. And I sit back and I'm more sitting here thinking like, Okay, but like, how much economic damage are you willing to do? It seems to me like society is not willing or prepared to tackle that question. Wirecard as somebody I've never heard of before. What did they do? Hmm. This is where I get filled, and then I wish that I was still short. Okay. I'm just looking at that low at 28.24 was the last place that they stopped. 24.25. And I really don't think that that's going to hold. Just a little bit more. Whoa. Whoa. What? What's the treasuries doing here? Royal Caribbean withdraws Q1 and forward year guidance. What took them so long? Not seeing anything on Twitter yet, but let's take the 50 because that concerned me. Like that. That was just like 4 ticks all at once sold in the treasury. Can't. And it's
Harlequin says,
way
so is this
slower.
more volatile compared to the crisis 2008?
I mean, just looking at the book, I can't really say. I can't really say because I wasn't looking at the book in 2008, you know? But in terms of price movement on a daily basis, I would say it's about the same. But and this was something that's really been messing with me is like I think back to only a couple months ago. Like when was it? Well, February? No, not this February. No, that's not it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, last August, and then before that, last May. I felt like some of the individual moves that we saw during that time were way more dramatic. Like, man, there was some of those days where a piece of news came out and the flow that would come out of it was just nuts. Just absolutely insane stuff. There was another sell sweep in the treasury. And when I look at this action, it's moving more, but for some reason it doesn't not registering to me the same as it did last year, you know? And I think that it may be because this market is just so light on liquidity that I feel like it's just moving wherever. And it doesn't really. Okay, Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday
Gary
said.
Rich says 08 was different. It was real estate. Everyone thought the world was going to stop.
Oh, yeah.
This one is way different.
Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday said the novel coronavirus disease epidemic will not affect the fundamentals of China's steady and long-term sound economic development. Like, that was a long.
First Choice says, do you think everybody's holding to buy the dip when the bottom is in?
That's not something that I could predict. I kind of feel like there probably is a lot of people thinking that though. Like the issue here is, who's being hit? Like who's being hit? Do you know anybody that is in dire financial straits now because of coronavirus? I do recall on my Facebook feed I had one guy, he did public events, and so, he was just like a stagehand, but all of those events got canceled, so he didn't have any money for the month. But that's the only one that I've heard so far. Okay, look, now they're pushing down, huh? And the treasuries look like they want this, so I think I will take that. No, not quite. It's not right. Oops. Oops. That was a misclick. That was a misclick. Let me out. I thought that I had forgotten that I had already put my cell in and it took me out. Okay.
Gary Rich says we will more likely have a temporary snap upwards until earnings start, which is April, May, and GDP. Just watch and see.
That could be like I'm still thinking about like I've seen it. I personally have only seen it go three ways. There's this one. There's this one. Then there's this one. So like this was 2008, right? Like this was a crisis. It was like really wild in here, and then there was like a kind of a recovery and then a second dip. Now they're doing it, huh? Yeah, missed it. Ooh, damn. 4, man. Well,
Gary Rich says I've been looking over the historical stats over the years and decades of these drives up and down.
There's definitely patterns to it in there. Seven, 5.
Harlequin says, by the way, just realized that the overnight range in the E-mini is about fucking 183 points.
Right.
Holy shit.
The overnight range in the E-mini is pretty ridiculous right now, right? Like they went to the limit up on the overnight action. They went to plus 5%. Like, really? Oh man. It's another kind of in that spot where there was some people that looked like they were anxious to have it, but they're messing with me on the book. And the E-mini is back to
Harlequin
2820.
says if they somehow take down the daily low, I will be just lolling.
Right. The ES? Or if they reach the daily low limit, like the 5% down limit, So they reached the upper limit and the lower limit in the
Harlequin
Globex
says only
session.
125 points to go.
That would be something else.
Gary Rich says when maximum pessimism has been reached, that's when you step in. Until then, be cautious, anything can blindside these markets.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, are we really maximum pessimism or not? Because I thought yesterday was really bad. And the fact that we closed at the lows yesterday was really disheartening to me. And then I woke up and everything looked great. I'm like, well, that can't be right. Like the first thing, well, one of the first things I said today was it's suspicious, right? Hmm. You mean doing another long there? I wonder if that's another fake signal or not. So the last 3 times that they've gone long, they come back down hard. These treasuries are kind of bidding up like they want to go higher and then dying down. Hmm.
Gary Rich says no, 30% from the highs is getting max pessimism for indices. Many
Yeah.
stocks are down 50% plus. Bargain basement hunting.
Well, the indexes are still not to 20%, right? And 20% would be I guess that's my stop right there. Right into the iceberg. I think I had a good signal there, but I think I read that for more than it was, and I was way too finicky on where to catch it and everything like that. Okay, so that one actually pulled through in ES. Yeah. It's still kind of in a range in which I can't really tell what it's going to do, you know? It is higher than that last swing. But yeah, I still go back. Like, we're supposed to be having a recession. Uh, Maybe it's just me. I don't feel like people are being impacted like it's a recession yet. And another thing that concerns me is like, okay, was the markets reacting to Italy quarantine? Well, they extended the quarantine to all of Italy. I didn't see too huge of an impact when that happened on the overnight futures market. So maybe they weren't reacting to that. But like if they started doing measures like that in the United States that would impact the economy, would we move? And I think we would. And I don't think that any of that sort of a thing is priced in. So I'm just looking at the price action and it's telling me positive things and I just don't seem to believe it. And that is very much the way things went in 2008 when we bottomed. I didn't feel that way at that time. At that time, I knew that it was a turn. But this time I'm skeptical for some reason. Okay. Well, the futures just went wild. Just wild. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Thousand at 138. Well, the administration must have said something really positive, because what the fuck? Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better. I'm into it. And why did it not? Oh, because I have to set it. Okay. Panic. Panic. Stop for a second, Seth. You've got to come up with a new game plan here, because that's not going to work.
Gary Rich says if we get to those December 18th levels, it's game on to nibble going long.
Let's try this again.
Masiak says hi Seth everyone.
Hey. For you. Okay. Better. Oh, that last one was so bad, guys. It's not. Ooh. Hmm. Hmm. That one's a little suspicious. Yeah. Gonna come all the way back up? I don't know. That seems.
Masiak says I think better play pre-session, London session on this days. Volatility is not so crazy, easier caught swing.
Thank you. Hmm. Find it curious when I'm sitting there and I see no reason for them to not hit into that price and they don't. Like they're doing it just for me. But of course, we know that that's silly. Okay.
Masiak says, Seth, what are you waiting for to trade on ZN?
Well, there's some trades, first of all. Okay. Um, and I'm not looking for anything that I think I could specifically pin down for you. Just I'm seeing like unusual activity. Like they wanted it really bad. And so they started kind of wiggling around a lot. So I said, well, okay, I can probably pull a couple of like two tickers out here. So I did. Okay. So that suggests the E-mini might turn down. That one, I'm unsure if I can take. Not only am I having a hard time seeing my risk reward spot over there, but I'm not sure if there was enough divergence for me to take it. Okay, see that right there? They want that. Oh yeah. They're washing out way too easily though. See that? Hmm. Not necessarily how you want to get filled. Okay, do you see that strong offer? That is one of the things that I've been seeing. But that all of a sudden stopped being reliable. Yeah.
IDK says, hello, Seth.
Hello. Good dear. Hmm. So it's just kind of a question of
IDK says, what do you think about spread trading?
spread trading can be really effective. Like you can get really high win rates in spread trading, but you're going to pay a lot of commissions for it. So for the majority of retail traders, it might not necessarily make sense as scalping. But if you have a larger account and you can afford to hold something for a long time and all that sort of a thing, then spreads can be a really great way to do it. Okay. I think I'm already outstayed my welcome there.
IDK says, how much capital would you say?
Well, you're going to have to be able, I would want to be able to hold overnight. So you would probably need like at least 10,000. And then you need a little bit of money to hold the margin when you're legging in. So I'm just kind of watching for which prices I think will pull out of the way and clear and which ones don't.
IDK says that's not that much. I was expecting you to say 100k lol.
No. No. But it's different from scalping where since scalping you can get away with like 5k and probably be okay. Yeah, CFDs.
IDK says I've heard that some people trade spreads in a scalping manner.
Yeah, but the people that do that,
IDK says that is boring but effective.
the people that do that are probably get better commissions than your average beginner is going to get. Like if you had in see at the exchange and all, then maybe. Because like if we just say like you're doing the knob, that last trade was ended up so bad. By the way, I think that would be like if I was trading that live, I'd have to stop at that point because that was too. Well, I guess it's not so bad, but the E-mini like maybe is turning back down. So nope, nope, nope. Okay, better. Um, what was I? I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, like what? Like if you leg in, okay, and you're doing the knob, that's like 4 contracts times, you know, 350 or whatever you get by default on AMP. You know, so you would have to make more than a tick.
IDK says it's amazing to see that out there is tons of information about Forex, CDFS and that shit and almost nothing about spreads, options, order book.
Right? Well, that's because it's harder. It actually, if you start going deep enough into the technical analysis, you actually do start to run into it. So, like, for instance, all of this statistical stuff about fractals and like how how is the stock moving compared to random distribution and stuff like that. Like, you'll see articles that will mention the indicators and talk about it generally, but not really, never like, okay, and here's how you trade it and here's a strategy. Never. It's like, because at a certain point the math becomes too complicated that your average you know, guru that's just in it for the money doesn't understand it. That's probably not gonna fill. Okay. Hmm. I would really like to add to that, but I don't think that's a wise idea. ES sure is having some weird swings in it. I mean, it looks like they could turn down, but okay. That was too early. If I could be so lucky, I don't think that they'll come back for me. What? No, 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 no. Okay, if that turns back up and goes all the way up, then I'm going to be like, but that is not how you want to get filled. No, sir.
Masiak says I noticed point chart in your trade and now I'm trying to add this chart to improve my enter. I didn't know this chart before. For now is okay, better view. Slightly smiling face.
You mean the one that I have down in the bottom right? The one range chart?
Masiak says yes.
Yeah. I really only put it up there because things were moving so fast that I was unable to remember where they were turning in the E-mini, so I had to pull that up. Because that shows you literally every price movement. I wish I could get Jigsaw to show it that way. But Jigsaw, you can only choose the time increment. Okay, well, how did that turn out? Okay, not too bad. This one right here was like so awful. That was like I hadn't placed my stops yet, and oh my gosh, that was so bad. Ah.
IDK says do you plan to try spreads sometime?
I've messed with it a couple of times. It was just like every time that I've done it, um, you know, I always run into that issue of like, okay, like I can do this on sim, but I would need a much bigger account for this to ever work out in live trades. Yeah, that's not so hot. Nope. Nope.
IDK says can you trade spreads in Jigsaw?
Yeah. Well, I don't think with the way that I have it set up that I can use their synthetic ones. Let me check here. Part of it depends on your data provider. Yeah. See, if you come in over and I do a search for spread, it doesn't necessarily come up. Arrhythmic tends not to give you like the exchange traded spreads, so you can't do it that way. And I don't think that they have a synthetic spread thing yet. So you take that and it's okay, and then like he shows up on the other side. So they're just messing with me.
IDK says what is better, synthetic or calendar?
I don't know. And that's another thing is I've never really looked into calendar spreads. Calendar spreads is my understanding is where you can start to. There's some guys in Discord that have messed around with it a little bit. Calendars is where you can start to get some really, really high probability trades on. This is starting to look like they could break higher in a big way. Right.
Gary Rich says Seth, when did start this channel? What year?
Oh, I don't remember. I think it's been 2 years. 3 years. It was in May. So I think it was in May of 2017.
Red Miller says hi, do you think the Russians had heavy shorts positions on before they announced their oil play?
Oh man, I don't know.
Gary Rich says May of 2017.
I don't watch the oil market, but and the thing is it happened all kind of weekend, so and there was so much going on in the oil market just in like even Thursday and Friday when they were talking about it. So I think it would be really hard to snoop something out like that in the order flow, but it's possible. It's certainly possible. I would expect though that probably all of these countries have hedges of some sort. Man. So the range is just a little bit too wide for me here. E-mini is turning down a little bit again. I think that they might make another run for that 2820 area.
Harlequin says yeah, I believe Russia hedged themselves in Garlicoin.
I wish. I wish. So somebody was trying to slam it there really hard and was not successful at all in the treasury. Look, now they're going to squeeze him out. They're like, here, look, here's my big, huge 500 offer.
IDK says, do you know if it's possible to set a reversal chart on NinjaTrader?
A reversal chart? What is that? Okay, that last sell had much more success, didn't it?
Gary Rich says Russia oil break-evens are 25 to 30, Saudi way lower. The frackers again gonna take pain and losses with oil at these levels.
I think so. Oh yeah, like with fracking, it's just not worth doing
IDK
it.
says like a range chart but showing a range and AX tick reversal.
That trade just blew up in my face. Like I'm scalping this and everything, but I have to say this seems to be an area where it's a lot harder to trade the 10-year because it looks like money is overall coming out. Because they're definitely pushing people's positions, right? It's really hard to hold a tight stop in this. They could totally go up and take out my Order now. Sorry, where I had my order.
Masiak says they will have less on military. Good.
I mean, when you're talking about a country, they have so much money available to them, they can really do whatever they want. And they absolutely participate in the futures markets. So but I just don't understand the dynamic in the oil markets to really completely understand what Russia's thinking and what's really going on over there. The whole thing just seems kind of crazy to me. Hmm. So there's an interesting dynamic going on here between 7.5 and 8.
Aiden KN says, is this sim or live?
These are all sim. I don't think I'm going to be taking any live trades for a couple weeks.
IDK says that's intelligent emo. Red Miller says if we rally we may squeeze those possible Russians shorts. I think we in a financial warfare.
Okay. As you notice that the spots that I'm seeing, the stops just aren't holding, right? So this is not a favorable market for me treasuries, and I haven't been able to see like a good 8-tick swing like I did yesterday. Like yesterday, I took an 8-tick swing, and then now I'm trying to campaign it around and build positions, and it's not right. It's not really working. Because you think that you have the edge of an area, and then you don't. They break it. Like that they're going into my O6 already is kind of like a bad sign. Now 513 absorbed at O6. That's a bad sign. And right down to the 04.5.
IDK says how does the S market profile looks like now? I'm not at home yet.
So there's it's a little disjointed, but there's a distribution right about where we're at 28.42, and then there's another one a little bit lower around 28.20.
Aiden KN says I usually have a very tight stop on my ZN trades, but I've not traded for 2 weeks. Market is so thin, I can't read order flow. Even when I do, get stopped out so easily.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like it's just not. I think in a market like this with that, um, it's you can take a lot of trades, and so I think it's worth it to go into sim and do crazy things.
Andre Santos says when do we switch to 0620 contracts? Next week? IDK says the S looks like NASDAQ.
Friday. On the 12th. See, that's just not too far.
Andre Santos says thanks.
My read is just awful. I think that one that I was doing well on, the reason I did well was because I was only taking like 2.
Aiden KN says I wonder who is actually making money in such conditions.
Well, so if
IDK says ZN is fucking horrible.
if you can hold a really big
Ace
position,
Trade says morning.
Then it's a little bit of a different game, right? Like imagine if you were short from like 139, right? And you could just scalp in this area, and if it goes against you, you just go, oh, okay. You know? Different game. But clearly, like what we do, like the market making, really like scalping, it's terrible. Because that's why all of the liquidity is pulled, is because the robots are kind of doing a similar thing to us, and the robots have said it's not worth it. Right? Yeah. I'm very much seeing this thing where like you'll see a big trade, and then they go and they're gonna push through it. Like that stop's gonna get hit again. And I don't know, am I getting enough favorable ticks on these to make it? No, I'm not. So maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy today, guys. Interesting.
Gary Rich says the yield curve is so flat, it looks like a 12-year-old boy. IDK says people used to say that algorithms are the enemies, but actually they make the market feel more safe and readable.
Right. I mean, I don't like that we're so dependent on the robots. That to me is a really big problem. That things get tough and they all just disappear. So like when we actually need them, they're not there. It was just I think it's such a, I really think that we should do something about it. They're making me chase it. It pisses me off.
Aiden KN says I rather we move back to pit trading face with tears of joy.
Pit trading. I don't know if we would fare much better in pit trading.
Harlequin says so if anyone is using robots, who is losing money?
Who is losing money? The equity traders. I don't know who is going to lose money in the future, but who lost money, it's definitely all of these hedge funds that shit. No. I'll let it come back and try and. What the hell was that? This is where I start to, like this is exactly why I'm not trading in live right now, though, is just like you start getting into this spot where it's like you're wrong almost every time. That was a really wild sell. I don't see any news. The E-mini didn't really react to it either. It might have just been somebody looking to sell it in the treasury. I don't know. Maybe somebody was just trying to send us a message. See, if I had traded that life, how bad would that have been? Oh yeah, that's so terrible. I don't even want to look at that. Don't look at that. Don't look at it. So bad. So there's still some iceberging at 138. So they've had some trouble getting through there just because there's always a lot of orders there. And in this particular market, that has turned out to be a problematic. Hmm. See, I mean, he's trying to get higher there, and it's having a bit of a struggle. Oh, here's the open. There's my stop, guys. Go get it. Okay, so the first impulse in the E-mini is positive, and it's looking good so far. Thank you.
Aiden KN says, what are your results usually like prior to these conditions? And how many trades would you take a day?
So when I'm doing well, let's just say because you're our new name. I really don't like holding myself up as like some amazing guru that is so great and you should follow every trade that I make and all of that. It's definitely not the case. I will go through a period where I do really, really well, and I go through a period where I do really, really awful. And I will often like um, overdo it in one spot. And yeah. So I don't, if the question is, oh, how profitable is this person? Should I listen to them? The answer is you probably shouldn't listen to me any more than anybody else. Okay. But when I'm doing well, I'll usually take maybe 3 to 4 trades a day, and I'm maybe making 4 ticks per trade. And in the end, I'll maybe come out +4, +6. Every once in a while, I somehow will just be able to catch a really strong winner, and then everybody thinks I'm amazing, but okay. So some selling now. Pretty strong. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten rid of that one. Okay.
IDK says the one on the S on cut rate news judge.
Darn. Thought they would give me more time. Hmm. Wow, the E-mini turned back up again so quickly. Okay, fine. We're building a little bit too much volume there at 27. I don't know about that. Okay. CS gonna make another run up. Looks like they're battling here to some distribution at around 28.42. Some really strong distribution. Yeah. The E-mini seems to be, or sorry, the treasuries seem to be way overreacting to it all too. uh, too much at 27.5. Don't like my position. Don't like what just happened in the E-mini. Okay. Think um this is where I get frozen. Then I regret it. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a step back here.
RJ Wheel says like.
So the E-mini turned back down again. And we push back up to the 138. I think I had a really like I want to short the treasury sort of a thing going on there. And it seems like a different player has come into the market and forced them up. Mm. So kind of these spots, and now we're trading 1,000.
Gary Rich says these option selling are working beautifully. The 1 to 2 week time decay is sweet.
Okay. Oh. Oh.
Gary Rich says, and no, I am not 5 or 10% OTM, that's really dumb.
But you are getting some theta here, eh? The E-mini looks like it's going to whip back hard again. Come on. Cooperate. Cooperate. Ah. Well, maybe they go lower. I don't know. It was a little too flat right there. You know, that's odd. For this market. For this market, that's odd. There we go. E-mini refusing still. So if they move up, then it's really gonna be okay. I don't feel safe taking a trade in the E-mini here yet, though. Like maybe if they go a little bit lower, and I can like that. Okay. I don't know. This trade over here in the E-mini hurt. Oh my god. You could be kidding me, right? I did not manage that one well at all. Should have just taken it all off when I was down there. We're bailed here.
Gary Rich says once the VIX stabilizes, gonna sell calls on those crappy VIX ETFs.
Well, sellers seem like they're trying awfully hard here. But the treasuries aren't completely buying it. Not yet, at least. They are above 138. Huh.
Aiden KN says, how long have you been trading? What has your journey been like so far?
So it's been like 3 or 4 years now. Basically, since October of 2016. And basically what'll happen is I'll start doing really, really well. And then I'll be like, okay, cool, let's start doing some stuff with it. And then it just crash and burn. Like they're waiting. They're like, okay, Seth thinks that he's good now. Let's go humble him. Right? Today I just feel like awful. Well, that's maybe a bias, so. I'd say the place to for that to reverse is long past. Batch. I feel like this is just chasing. Man.
Damien
Because
Asman says, do you
now,
follow the ETF?
because now I'm like literally right where I might want to go long in the E-mini. I don't know. It was a big order at 04. Hmm.
Gary Rich says, have you noticed this dislocation between gold and treasures? If inflation were so bad, gold should have priced up way higher. We are in deflationary cycle. The
Oh,
Fed doesn't
totally.
want deflation.
Yeah, it's 100% deflation. No question about that. Has anybody said that we're in an inflationary environment? Well, I think it's funny. Everybody's always
Aiden
concerned
KN
about
says, chasing in
inflation.
ZN has never turned out well for me. I always catch the end of the move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. It's like if you get filled, it's bad, right? and it's if you're using market orders to hit in, you're automatically your chances aren't as good. But you see, what's going on right now is I'm too slow. So by the time I get in,
RJ
I'm
Wheels
just
says
in
deflation can
the
be a way
mess.
bigger strain on the economy than inflation.
Oh yeah. I mean, inflation basically means there's too much money going on around, right? You get deflation, that means there's not enough. Deflation is like, it can lead to a depression. Okay, so I'm noticing that the E-mini is really swinging hard here. So if we get above, let's say 28.16 or so. No, at the moment looks like they don't want to stop selling. But I definitely see the divergence coming into the E-mini. And notice that nobody's hitting me at 04.5 yet. Like that should have been an easy one.
Gary Rich says some deflation is good, like cheaper oil equals cheaper gas for consumers.
They're just running away with it right now. The Bears are just having a ball. 2,800 next. They just broke a relatively significant level, and that's actually not all that crazy, considering that they just did that. Hmm. Okay. That one wasn't awful. I'm still seeing a situation here in the E-mini where they could turn really hard. Okay. Think they'll come that far back for me? Almost. Oh, good deal. Okay. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to cooperate. My entry strategy seemed to work a lot better than what I've been doing, so that's cool.
Happy Meal Trader says 2,700 doesn't look too far away.
A whole 100 points down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing a momentum
Gary Rich
shift.
says, did you read famous hedge fund Steve Cohen, employee at firm got corona?
I've heard of him, but I've never read it. Read that. Read a book of his or anything. Oh wait. You're saying? Oh, he got the coronavirus. Oh. Yeah. So I am getting the momentum shift. I think in this situation, I should let it ride a bit. Actually, we take the 50. Yeah. If it really looks that great, if we get up there, then I can take the profit. Treasuries are a mess in this area right here between '05 and '07. No, don't stop me out. Don't do it. Damn it. I just want to get back in. Let's try it one more time. That run is impressive. Back up to the 12. Well, they're going to need to get a little bit higher to really get the shorts to panic, though.
Gary Rich says employee at his firm not Cohen. Cohen
Right.
was one of the insider traders. He settled with the SEC basically slap on the wrist.
I think it's funny the way the media is playing up like person caught coronavirus. Like they want people in the government to catch it so bad. Like this whole thing about that people in Congress are self quarantined and like they're making such a big deal out of that. And I'm just like, who cares? Everybody's gonna catch it. We're all gonna catch it. It's a cold, guys. It's not.
RJ Wheels says Billions TV show is loosely based on him.
Oh, okay.
RJ Wheels says TV show.
A little bit of distribution there around the 14. But this is starting to turn into a really positive looking setup. Oh yeah. Now above
Gary
2817
Rich
would
says
be
great show.
like awesome. Come on. Give me something to impress the viewers with. There we go. This is a really good setup. We could retrace all the way back to 2840 potentially. Wait, really? Sure.
Damien
No.
Asman says not great show, awesome show.
Billions is a
RJ
TV show.
Wheels
I've never
says I
heard
love
of
that show.
Never heard of that show. Is there online streaming that I can watch this show? Or maybe make my wife watch it for me? No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I don't have the same we don't really have compatible TV watching habits. But I don't watch much TV.
Damien Asman says serious?
I've never heard of it. But you're talking to somebody that hasn't had a cable television for like 6 years. So I have
Harlequin
no
says
clue.
Bobby. Fucking. Axelrod.
Ooh.
Mads Mahler says what you sign of oil? RJ Wheels says Showtime CH. Gary Rich says Netflix has one called Dirty Money. Great perspective, scary.
I don't know anything about the oil market, guys. You ask really interesting questions that I'm hoping, you know, that Rich is much more qualified to answer because I don't understand OPEC dynamics. Like this whole thing, like, do you think the Russians bought puts? I thought that was a really good question, but I have no clue because I don't watch it. If it was the treasuries, then I'd be like, oh yeah, there was some really suspicious activity in the treasuries yesterday, and I really thought maybe something was going to happen. Like, but I was really confused. And then today, all of this stuff hits the fan, and I'm like, oh, see, they knew. They knew. I'm always saying that, right? But I don't know in oil. I really don't. Well, I'm liking this buy so far, but I think that they're going to take a little bit of a break. Oh, maybe that was the break. I don't know. If they get back to 2840, I'm going to be ecstatic. Like I sit there, it's like kind of in me, like I just want to get really excited about it, but then when it comes to it, and like I don't, you know, it's just not me. I'm way too reserved. Okay, you want to keep going up? I'm fine with that. It's great. There was a little
Damien
bit of
Asman says looking to short NQ at 8,210.50.
Well, I will give that number to you. So now I'm thinking, okay, so what strategy is he using? I don't know. I don't have a chart of NQ up, though. Okay, there was a little ledge here. Sure. You can definitely see where they're having a little bit of trouble in this area. There's a bit of congestion. The problem is, I think that there's some shorts caught. Hmm. 27, 28. Okay. Oh, not yet. Okay, that would have done it. I'm just thinking, okay, would I have gotten filled at 28? I think the answer is yes on that one. Well, if this one works.
Gary Rich says set that chart looks like a great climb. Let's see if you can ski down it on the slide down.
You think that they're going to sell the equities again? Well, I'm getting a little bit of, yeah. I am. Let's see if I can get right there. So there's some volume in that. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, baby. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Oof. And then that all came in so quickly. Yeah. So here's where we're back to the momentum shift. Are they going to go for it or are they going to come back? Let's see. Okay, so here's some distribution around the 20 again. Oh my gosh, that's what I should have been going for is the 20. Okay. $21 is the top of this. So you see that spike and you think, oh, that's great, but when you put it in context, it's not outside the range yet. Second patient has been cured of HIV after undergoing stem cell transplant treatment. Doctors, why is that? Why is First Squad talking about that? Okay. Well, it's not like I didn't know, but I guess I've been trying to take profits wrong places. Okay, fine. Right here. Sure. And last like half of that. The problem is when things go wrong, I get frozen. And because my tendency is to put the order and just want to let it come to me, you know? Oh my gosh, as soon as I get out, they go up. Good grief. Well, so I don't know what happens. Maybe I should have held that and they could bust up through the top, but I really shouldn't be holding it that long to find out, you know? And I don't really have a trade location in here to try and get back in. So 21 seems to be holding okay though. It's like previous resistance is support now. You know what? We can do it up here. Oh. Okay. Maybe not.
Damien Asman says, does anyone has any bad experience with Ninja Trader, especially now they are a broker also?
Well, this week I do get individual people. Like I've looked on the Facebook group. There was one guy was complaining about trying to do a backtest with Ninja Trader and he couldn't get the data loaded into the backtester. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. You just load it up and it goes. He must have been trying to do market replay or something. And then we had another guy in our Discord. Who was it? I can't seem to recall now. But he had some really serious issues with Ninja Trader. some really crazy like um bug that only affects him, sort of a thing, that just like completely crashes it. So I do hear rumblings from time to time, but overall I would say, like, in terms of stability, NinjaTrader is a lot better than it was when I started. Like 4 years ago, man, NinjaTrader A had so many problems. So many problems. Hey, see, I should have held that. Should have held that long in the ES. Gary, I let you talk me out of it. No, I knew that it was going to, I thought, hey, maybe it could come back down. I really should have taken profits faster. And then when we hit that, I
RJ
could have
Wheels
said,
says I'm still
maybe
Ninja 7.
get in.
Had a couple of problems. But it was after I ran replay on weekend. I don't care what anyone says. Replay does not work
Oh,
properly and
totally.
corrupts your system.
I don't even bother with replay. Like, it's not the same thing. It just straight up is not the same thing. Ooh, that came back against me quickly. Why are we doing that?
Damien Asmund says thanks, I am also on 7.
Yeah, so and it's kind of a conundrum because 7 is definitely still more stable. I mean, like if I'm messing around with charts, like I almost never touch it, right? But if I mess around with charts, then I can get it to crash usually. But once I get everything set, then it's good, right? But the problem with 7 is that the indicators are just so much better in 8. It's so much better in 8. Well, that sucks.
Harlequin says I had stability issues with NT8 like 1.5 years ago, that's why I switched over to Sierra chart. Had the chart freezing sometimes, and yeah, it sucks especially when managing a trade. RJ Wheels says I hate when gurus say, hey, do my stuff and run replay every night. If you do that, you'll be down to making charts with chisel and stone.
No. The replay is not effective. If you want to go back and look at order flow, you can. That's part of why I started posting the videos originally, was so that you could go back and watch the video on replay, because video is way better than market replay. I mean, market replay, maybe if you want to run your like test your trading system, but I say you back test it and then just forward test it. Don't bother with the replay. I've never bothered. I've never messed with it, to be honest, because the flow doesn't come in the same. It's different. I don't know, man. I feel like the treasuries came back way too quickly on that thing, even though the E-mini looks like they're going to go back up to 2840.
RJ Wheels says I actually don't find replay a good learning tool. Your mindset is off. It's triple
Yeah.
adverse effect of simming.
Yeah. I think when you're watching on replay, what you should be looking for instead is, like, because you know what's going to happen, you'll look for like a very specific spot, and you might be able to catch things that are really, really subtle that you otherwise wouldn't be able to see when you're in the market, because there's so much going on, you know. Mm-mm-mm. See, there's a range. It's no good. Why do I keep getting in on the wrong side of the range in ZN? Hmm? And why is it staying bid even though the E-mini is on a pretty okay run? You know, now that I think about it, for a pullback in ES to be 5 points really is quite silly, isn't it? And I think that messed with me a little bit there too. Because it really was coming back to like the, pullback bounce kind of area. And I was freaking out. Well, I did get higher than the bounce, but still. Could have been so much better. So it should have been so much better. I should have taken 75 off of that. Oh, no, wait, I didn't. It was 28.16. Oh, I did really bad. I did really bad on that one. On managing the exit. I mean, I still made money overall on my E-mini trades. It's really good, but I don't think I'm managing the trades very well today. And Donald Trump said the Federal Reserve must be leader, not a very late follower, which it has been. I feel like he has a point. I feel like that Powell has been too cautious still. So hard to even get filled at 03. Wasn't terrible, but see that? Shouldn't be doing that. Why is it doing that? What is it about 03 that they like? U.S. Energy Department says suspending recently announced crude oil sale from SPR of up to 12 million barrels. Conditions for postponement of sale of crude from U.S. Emergency Reserve. They were selling out of the Emergency Reserve? Were they really?
Bot says waving hand good morning.
Hey, there you are, John. Man, John, I just I had a good trade in the. I've been doing good in the E-minis, not in the treasuries today. The treasuries have just been a waste, but sim trades. But I had a good buy in the E-mini at around, where was it? 28.10? No, what did I actually take? Let's bring it over here. I bought 28.08. So good. It was so good. And then it came up and I said, okay, I should be taking profits. And it came back and I was so worried that they were going to try and push down again. But it was just a bounce. And I missed out on it because I was going to take it.
Harlequin says, is Bots this John Grady guy you keep mentioning?
No, it's not John Grady. His name is John. Anyways, I just feel really stupid now. That I only got out at 16. I just want to go bang my head against the wall. Man, why did I do that? It was like the exact wrong spot. I was so scared that they were flipping back down and around again. And like that was a spot that I could have added to it. Why did I do that? Well, I guess I don't really have a good feel for
Bot
when
says
that
nice to
should
see the
be.
limit up circuit breaker kick in on the ES overnight.
Right? Can you believe that? Man.
Bot says what scared you?
I don't know. I really don't know what scared. Well, no. I know what scared me. Hold on. Here's the chart. Let's show you the chart. Okay. So here's how I did it. I saw this move down in cumulative delta. I saw the momentum shift right here. Was where we saw this momentum shift because of this bar right here on the 1 minute. Okay. And then I said, okay, I should take it a couple of points lower. I actually took it originally at 09 and got stopped out, and then it still looked good, so I did 08, somewhere around here. Okay, so I did 08. It came up. Okay, so now it's right here. This is a pretty like the trend up that we had right there was really solid. Okay, so I'm thinking probably I should take some profits here. Then when it starts coming down, I'm like, okay, well, now I'm to like half of what I had. I better take my profits here, right? So I ended up taking like six. So I ended up taking something like that, you know? But like the momentum had changed, but it was a pullback. And I was afraid that it was going to go down here like this, right? You can see how I thought that might happen. But in the end, the cumulative delta did not end up being all that much, and it really was a buy. So I think that one, I misread it, but two, I think I let my emotions get the better of me there. So yeah. So I'm just kind of sitting here thinking about it and being like, okay, so...
Bot says look at your CCI too.
Oh, yeah.
Bot says in that area.
Right here. The CCI was negative, but not very. Well, but how do you know that the CCI wasn't going to...
Bot says momentum to the upside.
Wasn't going to come and do that again. I mean, that could have been possible, right? Because this is the point at which... Sorry, let me fix it. Oh, gosh dang it. We're looking at this. So this right here, can I really say that because of this CCI that I should hold it or add to it? You might have a good... Because I'm having a hard time seeing where... Like, I do think that my emotions got the best of me, but I think part of it was that I didn't necessarily see anything that let me knew what was actually going to happen there. It was just like, I didn't get the edge. Like, if I got out, I should have gotten out here, and then maybe I could have gotten back in, like, around this thing right here.
Gary Rich says I'd personally dump the CCI. It's not calculated for these markets.
Well, this one adjusts, actually. It's an adaptive CCI.
Bot says still a weaker down bar on that CCI than the prior swing down.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Oh.
Harlequin says what's a CCI?
So the CCI is the cumulative... what does it stand for? Cumulative Commodity Index, I believe is what it is. Right? And it's a momentum indicator. So you will find, if we look at where it's at 0, that's usually the midpoint of a move.
Bot says Commodity Channel Index.
Community Channel Index. Yeah. And then when you're...
Gary Rich says the CCI gives too many false signals.
I haven't really paid too much attention to it. But it makes an okay filter. I don't think you take it as a signal, like most things, but it makes a good filter. Like when you come in here on this, right? Tells you pretty convincingly that it was short. And then you can see when the CCI starts coming back up, so you can go, okay, maybe here. When we get to here, you could say, okay, yeah, the momentum has subsided to the downside. there's a pretty good chance that the momentum can flip here. Of course, the key is always like, you got to be early.
Bot says it might if you only use the CCI by itself, but as a one part of the puzzle indicator it does have merit.
Yeah. My back testing has shown that it makes a good filter. But it's not perfect. It's certainly not perfect. But the CCI may be one way of doing it. I don't know. I really think I should have sold up here. I really think I saw it. Like, if I come back over to here.
Damien Asman says, damn, I miss a nice long at 8,224.25 off the NQ.
Where was it? Okay, so we're down and up and back. Or was it right here? It was. It was this right here. So when we were doing this, I was already thinking right up here that maybe I should be taking it. I don't know how I knew that, right? But then the thing that really irks me.
Gary Rich says, read the original creator of the CCI. It was constructed for commodities, not others.
Oh, we're doing commodities. Then there was this sort of a thing. I should have been panicking and clicking out in here. And then we got into this and I sat through this and it did that. So it was like, I missed like 4
Bot
opportunities.
says, looking at the price action in that area you were pointing to, it did what you would expect it would.
Yeah, I don't know. You mean this right here? I don't know why I thought that that was... Oh no, I know why I thought it was a potential stopping spot. Well, first of all, some of you guys in chat were saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm going short," but then I saw this little. There was this area right here, so I figured, okay, there might be a little pause here. But I even said it. Like, we can go back and watch the video. I even said it. Oh, we might have a little
Bot
bit of a
says
pause.
it made a low, started higher and then pulled back before it continued. No, on your 1 minute chart where you showed us.
Yeah, see right here. So this is the thing that drives me crazy. Is this line, which, it's vague about what it is, but let's just talk about it as a general moving average, right? You come to a moving average and there's a reaction to it. One of two things can happen. It can bounce off the line or it can go through it and you get a new trend, right? And how do you know which one is going to do it? That's like, ugh. And in this one, I kind of thought this was a major trend reversal. Like I had an order up here at 40. That's what's like so irritating about it. So, you should expect it to come and bounce off of it. And once it did this and it did that again, now I probably should have bought in there too.
Bot says, see your orange bars on that chart in that area?
Okay. So we're talking about these orange bars right here. But see, like, that's where it's like, okay, by this point.
Bot says their lows should mark your stop progression.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I should have been pulling up my stop a little bit more aggressively. That would have made a difference.
Bot says those 3 and the one before those.
Yeah. Because even on this one, you can see how it's... Well, so one of the things I've noticed... Look at where the orange lines are for the points of control. If it's in that tail, that's often a good sign that you're about to have some turn.
Bot says, and your initial stop should have been the low of that signal bar.
This one?
Bot says, or mother bar. Gary Rich says, if you read the original books or papers of these indicators, you might discover something interesting.
Maybe. So let's look at it on a 5-minute basis. On a 5... Oh. But this is a candle spot pattern that has screwed
Bot
me up
says no, the
before.
large bar you used to set up your entry.
Okay, hold on a second. I just wanted to look on the 5-minute bars to be like. So you're talking about this one. Yeah. Okay. And then you're saying
Bot says yes.
your initial stop should have been the low of that signal bar. Oh, wait. You're saying that I should have just left my stop down here at like 2805 and then but where should at what point should I take the profit though?
Bot
Like
says that low should have been your initial stop.
Yeah, that was the initial stop. Yes. Well, I was actually a little bit higher than that because I was only taking it takes risk, but for the sake of we wanted to take it as a swing and straight up like that, then yes, low would have been there. So then when it comes...
Bot says yep, until that first orange bar formed.
This one right here.
Bot says yes.
Okay, so then when it moves up, where do I move it to? Or where would you move it to, or at least? What we're trying to suss out is how John would have traded it. Is the gist of here. I don't know if he took it, but we're back to 26, by the way.
Bot says and then just hold there until after that 3 bars pullback.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we had held through this, then we definitely would move our stop up to there or there, right? I think...
Bot says right.
Right. But is there anything that we could have gotten out on that bar? Not so sure. But certainly we could have done it on this bar right here. At that point, though, I'm frozen.
Bot says not really.
That's the thing that I don't know what I got to do about it.
Bot says maybe out on the next bar.
Yeah. I think that we need to come up with some sort
Bot
of...
says when it broke your moving average.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that's a good thought. Okay, let's watch that in the future. Should ask Ace about that. Can I see where's some other good ones that this could have given us? Huh. It is. Okay, maybe we should use our other moving average. Let's keep an eye on that. I think that's a good point. To the larger thing, though, I think that I need to have like a better game plan for when it doesn't do exactly what I expect. Because I'll be like, okay, they're pulling back a little bit. I'm not sure I understand it, or it comes back really hard, and then I'm frozen. I'm like, well, I thought it was going to go up. It still could, and my tendency is to just like have the orders there and wait, because I feel like that when I get into those panics, that's when I get some of the things that screwed me up in the treasury today, right? Where it's like you're chasing it or whatever the deal is, right? And I really need something that's
Luis Alarid says what was the histogram indicator?
The one that down at the very bottom. The one down at the very bottom is the distance between the two moving averages. So I use that.
Luis Alarid says bottom.
Yeah. It's the distance between the two moving averages. I use that to determine if there's enough imbalance to actually take the trade. So.
Bot says similar to a MACD.
Yep, it's similar to MACD, but it is adjusted for the range. It's adjusted by average true range, but it's similar to MACD. So if it gets beyond 1, that's like a really big outsized move. I don't know. We could also go back and look in the order flow and see if there was maybe something that might have told us. For one thing, this sweep right here was like the first time that I saw a sell sweep in a while. So maybe we could have taken 24. Yeah. So that's the second one. So those are two that we should watch, right?
Bot says 10:15 to 10:45 counter trend period doing its job this morning.
Yeah, it's a good point. I really think that I would. Oh, there's the baby monitor. I have to say, if I had been able to hold that trade, I definitely would have taken it off at 28.40. That was the open, and you know that the shorts are going to try and double down on it there. Now, maybe later in the day, if they hold this area, they can come up and blow through that. But for now, I have a hard time seeing, you wanting to hold it past 28.40 unless it came through it like really super aggressive or something. I see like a lot of coronavirus headlines on Twitter all of a sudden. So it's like the bears are trying to get everybody. Look at that. Oh, it's doing that again. This one's not so extreme, but we've had this thing where like I've seen this pattern where it goes like this. Like exaggerated. Oh, it seems to only do it on the downside. I feel like that there was something else to be said, but I don't. Anyways. Oh, by the way, click that like button. Thank you guys very much. What else? Oh yeah, no, I know what it was. It's just like I need to have a better trigger point, to be like, okay, it's not behaving the way that I should. Yeah, there's still a possibility that it goes higher, but that is enough for me to get out. I don't think I have that. I feel like that once I'm in, I'm too finicky, especially in the ES and treasuries. Sometimes I see it because if there's like a big iceberg or something like that, then I can kind of go, oh, okay. Or like if there's a downtick that shouldn't be there, then I go, okay, there's somebody's pushing against it. In the E-mini, I can't tell. So maybe it's just a matter of finding more of those little things. But I think that it's also a mental thing. Like, okay, as soon as I see something that I don't like, I should be getting out. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just we'll trade it like that, and then maybe my habit will change if I start thinking of it that way. Okay, so I'm seeing something.
Gary Rich says you guys are giving me PTSD. When my charts looked like someone barfed on my screen.
Well, I really think that what I got on this chart, for instance, is there's a lot of stuff that's not like so. But I'll explain to you why I have them on there. I always.
Luis Alarid says Ivy League Princeton all classes after spring break will be online corona effect.
I'm always
Damien
looking
Asman
at
says the way
delta.
how I start to trade now is I have a 2-2-4 candles move as my exit.
Okay. So yeah, I have cumulative delta. This one is the level 2 changes, which is definitely been useful.
Says lol at Gary Rich.
But this is something that I should be able to see from the DOM, right? But it's useful to have this chart. Okay. This one is ATR. This is telling me about how many ticks I should expect if I catch a good trade. That's another thing that I could have done. Although if I had used that, I think I would have gotten out where I did. Maybe I would have gotten a little bit more. Ooh, who's calling?
Baton Simon
Hold on
says
a second.
hello.
Somebody trying to scam me from New Jersey. It's always New Jersey, isn't it? No offense to I like New Jersey, but man. Okay.
Gary Rich says it, Jerry, it's true. Boris Schlossberg chewed my butt out for cluttered charts.
Anyways, so I got the average 2 range, and then I've got that kind of MACD-ish sort of a thing. So like when you look at it, this I don't necessarily need. I find it useful, and I'm trying to see if I can program something. So, but I can see that from up here. This, I mean, I shouldn't need it, but I feel like that I have trouble with it, so that's why I have that one up there. CCI, I don't know if I need, but other than that, I don't know if it's all that cluttered. This chart, I don't think that there's, other than the CCI, I don't think that there's things on there that I don't actively use. So I don't feel bad about that particular chart. There are some things that are experimental.
Says, hey, looking to keep it simple myself.
This is kind of experimental. The lines are kind of experimental, right? As opposed to like this thing, like the Fisher transform, and this one is rock volatility. I didn't even necessarily look at
Twemdog
this.
says, Seth, you need a better way to pick good prices. Once you know which prices are good, then you can decide how to trade them.
Yeah. So that I think that on that side, I think you have a good point. Like in the E-mini, I don't think I have a very good way of telling where I should take my price. When I took that entry, I said, okay, they are gonna go up, but they're gonna stop it out first, and so that's why I took the place that I did on that one. In the treasuries, there are times when I will catch it exactly, but today is not one of them. Every time that I thought that I had a spot, it ended up being the wrong end of it. And that's where I was saying, like, clearly not my action. I think that's part of that is because it seems like money is coming out of treasuries. But yeah, I don't know what to do about it. I would really like to read Gary Norden's course and see what he thinks and what he uses. But I want to spend the money on something else. In fact, I think I want to spend the money on some stocks. So we'll see. I have a little bit of cash. The giving birth to the baby is ending up not costing as much as I thought. But I think that I'm gonna buy some weights so that I can work out at home. That would be a big deal. And then save the rest. Okay. So thank you. And thank you, John, if you're still there. Thank you for going over that with me. Because I found that, even though it was a winner, and I would say that my ES trades were really great. I'm not going to show you that. It's so bad. But the ES trades were great. And those are
Jerry
the ones
is
that are more
awake, says,
serious
do
right now.
video on treadmill.
No, I'll be like doing Olympic lifts. I don't know. So if I do start working out at home, it may give me the opportunity to do late evening streams, but I don't think I'll really do it. But we'll see. There's always that chance. Or maybe like more political videos. Like I could do a political video at the end of the day. I would have time to do that. I think that would be great, and it would be more useful to you guys. I think I would do it on a separate channel, but yeah. anyways, I'll be around more. But mostly it's just like I have a baby and all this stuff, and like I would much prefer to have that hour of travel time and everything back. So yeah, I'm gonna do it that way. I'm babbling, aren't I? You know what? I am, because I never did my cryptocurrency charts. That's the deal. Okay.
Luis Alarid says Seth ripped soon.
Well, my legs are pretty ripped. My legs are pretty ripped. You know what? I just don't have the genetics for it. Yes, dear. Oh, okay. Mm-mm-mm. Another thing is I could have just said ATR. I don't know. Could have. There's some like a couple of things that I could have done on that trade that would have been better. I think I was playing it a little bit too much by the seat of my pants. I think that maybe I didn't sleep very well last night because uh, I do tend to get a little bit more like disorganized towards the later end of the day, but it's really going to be like 10 o'clock where I really start to go like south, and I already feel disorganized.
Live Action says Seth, you should train home. You're a power lifter. Should be a simple setup.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do Olympic lifting. I mean, I do Olympic lifting, and I'm going to get bumper plates. I want to get bumper plates. It's Tuesday. Okay. Oh, it gave me a signal long again. That one, though, I'm not sure you can take. That one, I think, goes lower, Well, it already would have stopped out. Unless it was, no, it was staying long, yeah. Ooh, wow.
Live Action says be careful with your back. I have some friends and a brother-in-law with permanent back injuries from powerlifting.
Oh, really? That was interesting. Well, I have a bad back, I will tell you. But I do the Olympic list. The thing with the Olympic list is it doesn't really get you
Ace Trade says at TWEM.go. And how does one pick better prices?
There are some people on my team that have just amazing biceps, but I do not. And it doesn't really target, they're just genetically gifted. I got it on the leg a little bit. I probably can't show you. I don't know. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. You can see the leg muscle a little bit, but that's kind of hard to see from there. Anyways, so I'm okay on the legs, but I'm just not built. My body just doesn't put muscle on like that, and I have really thin joints and stuff. So, anyways, I'm babbling. Oh, it's only 8:43, so we're okay.
Luis Alarid says this one guy told me a total workout can consist of clean and jerk and deadlift.
Oh, totally. Well, a workout
Bot
for
says
us
you
is
going to install a
usually
strippers pole too?
no.
Live Action says wowie wow wow anybody got $1 for Seth.
Yeah, so normally a workout for us will be like a clean and jerk, and then squats and some sort of accessory exercise like presses and pulls. You work that hip really hard. So usually like 4 exercises like that. But like I said, you don't really need the upper body like the chest. Doesn't really get used in Olympic lifting, so you usually don't build that up. And in fact, you don't necessarily want to, because you want the muscle, your weight, to be down in your legs. If you're gonna put on extra weight, you want to put it where it's gonna help the lift. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have weak upper body, because everything should be within a certain range of each other. But I digress. From a bodybuilder perspective, you're gonna be imbalanced on the legs. Okay, so treasuries up again. Yeah, they held that up pretty good. The thing that I find interesting and a little bit confusing about all this action is that the treasuries, it just did not.
Luis Alarid says push-ups and sit-ups is all I do.
The treasuries
Damien
stayed in
Asman
this
says about
04
how
area
long
the
should you
whole
backtest
time.
a strategy before going live?
Oh, okay. Good question. And then probably I should go, right? So when I backtest, the way that I would do it is, first, when you're developing, you're going to be backtesting at a bunch. So you want to work on a small enough data set that doesn't take forever. Like, it should only take like 10 seconds. So if it's not something that I have to use tick replay on, maybe I'll do a month, right? I'll backtest it on that month until I think that I've found something. And then if I've found something, then I'll go back and backtest it over the full year and see what happens. Now, when you backtest it on a full year, there's some things that you should see. Like there should be a time period where the strategy doesn't do as well, and probably even loses a little bit of money. You want to know what your drawdown is on it. Okay. If it's just up, then that is like a dead giveaway that your strategy might be doing something funky, that where your profits are more a function of how NinjaTrader backtests it rather than trades that you actually could have done, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'll do it on a year, and then if it really looks good on a year, then I would go back and I would run it on. I run it on as big of a data set as I can. So the last one that I was testing, I ran it on all the way back to 2008, I believe. Okay, so you do that. Then if it really works, then, or not, if it looks promising, and I would like to see something that's like a profit factor of 2 at least, with relatively good win rates. You got to be careful about the ones where you only win 20% of the time, but it's so great when you do win those. There's problems with those from a statistical standpoint, because you don't have enough winners to show that there's a good probability of that behavior continuing. Okay. So if you have a win rate closer to 50% and you're getting a profit factor of 2, that's awesome. Okay. Then also things like your Sharpe ratio, if you can get your Sharpe ratio up to 2, that's good too. Or at least 1 and above 1. But I don't think that a Sharpe ratio of 1 is very good, right? I'm a little fuzzy on Sharpe ratios at the moment. Okay, so then you want to start running it on sim. So you just come into NinjaTrader, and come over here into strategies and add a new strategy. And then when it asks you which account to put it in a sim account, right? And just watch it take the trades and make sure that it trades where you think it should. Do that for a week. And if it does it well in a week, then hey, maybe it's worth taking it live. And you can, just don't give it very much, right? And then as it makes money, size it up. But if you were like run into any kind of a drawdown, pull it back, because there's going to be a point at which the algorithm gets so good that other algorithms start catching on to it. So you gotta be careful about that too, right? So you don't want to push it too much. Like when the trajectory of your gains starts decreasing, pull it back, because that means maybe the market's catching on to you, and you gotta scale back a little bit. Okay. Gary gave me $1. Oh my gosh, Gary, thank you so much. Push-ups and sit-ups are all I do. Wow. And what else was there? He says around 12 to 15 seconds. Hey, Ace, are you still there? I have a question for you really quick. Let's come back. So, I took this one somewhere around here. Okay, I took it long. I think I would have liked to have gotten out here, but like I panicked and I got out here. Right? How would you have done that? Do you think that this other moving average here is a good signal to potentially think about exiting your trade? That is the question. Oh, I'm not even showing the chart. There's the chart. This first circle right here is where I got in. That was where I got out. I don't know if he's still there. Maybe I'll text him later. If you're still listening and you're typing something or something, just text me later. Mm-hmm. Ugh. I feel so disorganized. I don't think I slept enough last night. That must be it. When I woke up this morning, I didn't feel good. I felt dehydrated and tired, and I didn't want to get out of bed. And I'm usually just bounce right out. Cool. By the way, Gary, thanks again for $1. Gary's always been kind to us. We've been doing good on donations this week. Yeah. We've been doing really good stream-wise this week. I'm happy about it. And we've had good conversations. Today was, well, obviously not like yesterday, right? But it was a good break. See what the market does. They're selling now, so we'll see how far the shorts can get. They sure are aggressive, man. Okay, yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable.